Space Committee. This is a meeting of the Open Space Committee. We have a quorum. Present are Maureen Menasian, Michael Sylvia, and Eileen Heine. Myself, I'm chair. The meeting is commencing at 2:07. Okay, the first item is approval of the January 23rd meeting minutes.
I reviewed them and I didn't see any discrepancies, so I will put a motion to approve them.
Okay.
I'll second it.
All right. I agree, so they are approved. All right, Pat, I had an email from Pat Neary that she will not be on today, so there is no public comment because there's no public attendee. So, all right, let's move on to the old business. The first one is the open space plan. I think I reported last time that the state has not acted on the grant applications. Maureen and I did meet with Shane, the planner in community economic development, who's responsible for this. I don't know what day was that, Maureen. It was sometime since.
Yeah, I don't
It was February 3rd. February 3rd. Just to try to see, he was interested in seeing what we could start in the absence of hearing from the state. And so one of the things we discussed is that we will have to have some kind of a steering committee. And so we kind of put just a draft of some names together with Maureen and me giving some input, and Shane is taking that to the whatever the next step is. And what we're looking for, I think, is just some people probably outside of this committee. I mean, maybe one, I don't really see, we have lots of input into open space as it is. I think the plan maybe should rely more on other people. And I think that's been that's been the case in the past when I looked at the composition of the advisory committee in the last 2017 plan. It looked like it was, a broad range of people from other, of course, I don't know, there may not have even been an open space committee then for all I know. Anyway, but since when we met, I mean, there's not been any good news, but there is some news, and the news is that the state has not acted on any of these, that there's frustration throughout the planning community in the state, and they sent out a message finally saying they haven't acted on them, and it sounds like now they're just re-looking at everything, just given all the chaos and grant funding and from all sources, and probably trying to take a second look at what they can give and what they can't give, and so who knows? Anyway, just like everything else going on in the world right now, it seems like it's a complete open question. And
yeah, I've seen from just talking with some people that I work with for nonprofits and people who receive funding from the state and the federal government, they really have no idea what's going on right now. So yeah. I'm not surprised.
Yeah, and we don't really know why they didn't act on it earlier before all hell broke loose, but they didn't. So at any rate, so I don't know. I mean, my personal feeling is, and that I myself, and I don't want to be heavily involved in this process. I think I want this committee to focus on other things. I think the planning itself is actually something that the town is required to do, to get grants and all sorts of other programs, and that town staff needs to be primarily responsible for that. So, and also, as we raised the issue the last time, Maureen and I spoke about the fact that given that the Community Preservation Committee just went through the process of updating their plan, which includes an open space element, we really want to push for having some of that used as the basis for what we do, rather than totally recreating the wheel here. And anyway, so that was a conversation we had with Shane, and then, as I say, subsequently he sent out that email from the state saying, sorry, yeah, we're not doing anything right now, we'll let you know as soon as we can. So that's all.
Other than the CPC, has Parks had to do this before, or has Tree Committee, have they had to do that before?
Committee is a new committee, so they have not. Recreation, Recreation does. In fact, I think I'm trying to remember now, the open space plan may be open space and recreation.
Okay.
And the recreation was also an element of the CPC, wasn't it, Maureen? Isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, right. So, yeah, so
So,
they
yeah.
did it. Yeah, they did it. But,
Got it.
you know,
I was gonna say, because wouldn't it just be kind of like a blueprint of what they did for parks and the people who were involved, similar understanding,
yeah,
I feel like that would be, like apples to apples type
yeah,
thing.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I actually, I was gonna read, I don't think I'm gonna have to find it now. There was an email sent out about, or I just copied it, I guess, from the plan that they came up with to say what the open space focus would be. I mean, what they got out of the process, the public meeting process and stuff, but honestly, I can't find that right now. It was posted, the CPC plan has been posted on the town website, I think. I got an email from someplace posting that. And anyway, it's 4 or 5 lines, but preserve agriculture, preserve river waterways, etc., and kind of what we saw the last 5 years, 10 years, whatever, what we've been saying all along. And, I'll try to remember to send that link out. Well, Maureen, you've seen it.
I
So,
have. Yes.
yeah, you were involved in it. So anyway, that's it for the open space plan. Parks publicity. Of course, Josh isn't on now. Michael, why don't you and I talked about this earlier this morning, but why don't you just tell me what you think you can do in the next month or so?
Yeah, so what I'm thinking is connect with Josh. I wanted to do it today before the meeting. We didn't get a chance to. Um, that was my fault. Traffic, etc.
Yeah,
So essentially, I just want to check with him, figure out who the connection is to IT, who are the individuals who maintain the town of Bridgewater YouTube property for the town.
okay,
And get in contact with them, or have him get in contact with them and ask them to create, essentially it's a 5-minute task. It's a playlist, and it's like a segmentation of the website. I've already seen that they've done it for other meetings and other for like town meetings and stuff like that. It's the same thing. We're just asking for, instead of there being meetings, this is specifically for Parks and Rec, and Parks and Rec and open space. And that way we can have the videos live there. And then so
okay,
it could have its own link that people could go to, that we could share out, that is, youtube.com/Bridgewater Mass / open space, or open space and parks, or whatever it may be. And then everybody would just be brought to that page, and they would be able to see all the videos that we've created and any videos we create in the future. And the idea is that we just have a spot where these live, and where they can go in perpetuity, until we want to take them down or replace them or whatever. So,
okay,
and that makes it easier to share on social media. That makes it easier to share individually to other people. It makes it easier for other organizations who in town who might want to be involved or want to share out that information. It's easier to share it that way. It's a very direct way for getting that info out. And
yeah,
it being on YouTube as well, they can embed them on the website as well, the Town of Bridgewater website, because each video has its own embed code. And it just basically, we could literally have a page on the website that has, these are all the open spaces in town, and there's just a video and another video and another video, and the title is right on the front. So
okay,
it creates a lot of opportunity for getting the content out there to people
yeah,
in all different ways.
okay. All right, well, we'll see how that goes. Um,
Yep.
all right, Yeah, and I don't know that we've had any other, I mean, I think we're waiting to spring and we will, I think, get Jeff and Al out to the other three parks. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, in the meantime, I certainly don't have anything in mind of what we should be doing, so. I mean, not what we should be doing, but what we can do, so.
Right.
All right, so, the Wyman North Fork Conservation Area Trail expansion. So we've had some discussions about this in the past about whether now that we have that one trail out on the property that's owned by Wildlands Trust, whether we couldn't expand the trails to cover more of the town's open space. And Owen had indicated he was interested in helping with that. And I know John Hart, the town agent, parks agent, was interested in that. And I've talked with Gina Guasconi, who's chair of the CPC, and she says their view is that it would be eligible, that expansion, that creating new trails there would be eligible, because there was a question of whether it's only acquisition of property that you can use for open space, or like you can't do restoration because or repairs, but new trails they seem to think would be original and new enough that it would qualify. So I just talked with Owen before this call, and I think what we need to do, my understanding of the first step, and Maureen, you know more about this than I do, is that we would need to submit a request for an eligibility determination to the CPC.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, you have to fill out some paperwork, an
okay,
initial paper. It's not too complex.
okay,
And to submit it, just to get the idea of, well, this is what we want to do and will it be covered? And
yeah.
then
And,
there.
and you have, you know, do you have to have an estimate of the cost, et cetera, when you're doing that, or?
I don't remember, but
Okay, all right,
maybe
well, you can, you and I can take a look at that.
we could,
because
yeah, we can look at
Yeah,
the
you'd be
paperwork.
the person to work on the
Yeah.
eligibility form with me, I think. So, what I would like a motion to submit an eligibility form or to start the process to submit an eligibility form to the CPC for expansion of trails at the Wyman North Fork Conservation Area.
Okay, now, is that whole area now being called, it's a combined name? So
Yes.
when I
Yep.
think of it, we would be doing the town trails, but that town trails, are they still gonna go with that combined name?
Yes, yep, yeah,
Yes.
that whole area, that's gonna be that.
The
that is
town,
gonna-
the town's okay with that? So
Yeah,
they'll
oh, well, yeah, right. We didn't
Okay.
ask. I mean, yeah, nobody, I talked to Kitty and I said, how did it ever get named Wyman? She said, oh, we just made that up. We had to call it something when we were submitting the grant in 2000. So, it was, nobody had any attachment to Wyman, whatever it was called before, because there was nothing official about it, it was.
Yeah, it was just because he donated the land.
Yeah, he donated the land,
Yeah.
yeah, and so it's like, yeah, so that's why we made sure his name stayed in there.
Yeah,
So,
okay. I'm just thinking about, just to make sure that it's known that it's gonna be the town land, that these trails are gonna
yes,
be.
yeah, okay, well, yeah, we'll have to see how to be specific about that, so this,
And
yeah,
and
and
we
I,
can't do any improvement on the old trails, that's correct, right?
yes.
Because it'll be improvement, it's just cutting the new trails.
Yeah, well, I don't know about that, that's where it'll get a little grayer. I mean, I don't know whether those trails really exist anymore,
Well, I wondered about that too,
Yeah,
yeah.
so I don't think we know. So until we get out there and really explore it. And
Yes.
and it may be that's why I don't think we're approving actually submitting the eligibility form. I just want agreement that we should go ahead and explore this. I mean, because
Okay.
I don't know until we know exactly what needs to be described there. We may have to have a lot more on the ground looking, may have to talk with John.
Information, yeah.
Yeah, it depends on how detailed that application needs to be. It seems to me that I submitted the eligibility form for Hanson Farm, and I have to go back. I don't remember how specific it was, but just to get it on the agenda for the CPC to think about, and then I assume we find out from them in part what level of detail we need, and then I need to find out from Owen too, like what level of involvement they could
They will,
provide,
yeah.
you know, how much of this would be town expense and how much would be their volunteers, as happened with the existing trail. So I don't know, you know, a lot needs to be, but I'd just like to get agreement of a motion to move ahead with
Yeah.
the submission of an eligibility form.
The reason I'm just kind of nitpicking about the land and all that, is just that they need to know that it's, I think, they need to know that it's town land
Oh,
It would be-
absolutely. Oh,
versus
yeah,
wildland.
yeah,
What-
Wildlands Trust. Yeah, no, it has to be town land. Yeah,
Yeah, so it's just knowing, how to divide that up.
yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there
Okay.
might be, you know, and I don't know how close to the town land that the existing trail is, you know, the trail that's on their land,
yeah.
Wildlands. I don't know, you know, there's gotta be some segment that would have to connect the two, and how long that would be, you know, I don't know
Yeah.
whether it's on their land or our land, but, you know, I mean, I'm sure we could work with them on that, you know, that all the work they've done out there, they're not gonna object to connecting to town land.
Oh, yeah, I can't see that, yeah.
All right, so, can I have a motion?
Even need a motion on, because we're
I'd
just.
just like to have one, just before just in case, CPC asks or something, but yeah, I would just, you know, to look into, to explore the eligibility of extending the trails on the Wyman North Fork area, yeah.
Okay, so. Go ahead, Michael, you're better at wording that.
Yeah, I will make a motion to, I'll make a motion.
I could have done that.
All right,
I know, yeah,
to begin the process
yeah,
of
I make,
a
yeah, I'll make a
submission.
motion. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to begin the
The
process
CPC
of
funds.
submission of, the
Eligibility.
eligibility for CPC. Yep,
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, great. All right,
I'll second it. I'm sorry. I'm
All right.
sleeping,
I approve. All right.
sleeping.
you're like,
All
wow,
right.
that was a terrible motion.
Well, that's guy was
I understood it.
equivocating too as to exactly, you know, it wasn't like, yeah, let's just storm ahead here. It's like, I just
Yeah.
want some go ahead without, you know, having to get on their agenda just yet. We just need to get our
Right.
ducks. It's like the motions to get our ducks in a row is what it amounts to, but we got a little more
Yeah.
fun than that. Yeah. All right, so we
Yeah,
don't
in
have
case they ask.
Yeah, if they ask. We don't have a tree
agreed.
committee report. And actually, I can't remember who I've talked to about Hanson Farm, if anybody, other than just the Hansons when I go out there for eggs. But there's really nothing to report. I mean, I know it's moving along.
Hmm.
All right, so North Murray needs farm access. So I talked about this the last time, I think that, given that the Murray needs property, conservation land does not have any parking on North Street, and that North Street property is for sale, it would be nice to make sure that we get something out of that property that provides some sort of parking for Murray needs. And I had a meeting with Bob Ruley, the Community and Economic Development Director, because he's the one who's, I think, been contacted by the potential buyers who are planning on putting houses there. And it's not clear right now what the status of that is, because there are some wetlands issues. So apparently they've been restricted in doing what they thought they could do. So whether that sale is going to go through or not, I'm not sure.
Eileen, what'd you say they're planning on putting there?
Houses.
Oh, houses. Oh, I got you. Oh, so they're gonna
Yeah.
develop the area.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. But I guess
They
there's,
probably didn't pass perk.
Yeah.
Probably didn't pass their perk tests, so.
yeah, and you know, and it's really, I guess, not, now that they've sold off that corner property with that little house on it, you know, it's only, I think it's only like, I think it was 6 point some odd acres before the total parcel, and now that one was 1.5 or something, so it's not all that big. And I guess there's, you know, I guess the question of the slaughterhouse barn and stuff, what they would do with that anyway.
Right.
So it's not clear what's going to happen, but I just I just told Bob, you know, I just want to make sure this is sort of forefront in everybody's mind as we go forward, that the town needs to get access to that property. And this is probably our last best chance. I mean, if it doesn't happen now, I don't know when it's gonna happen, you know, unless maybe if,
Right.
David Hansen has property down at the other end that he owns, and if you remember, Maureen, when we walked down there, you know, we walked through his property. And so whether he might ever, turn some of that into conservation land is a question and give some access, but that's a long way away, so anyway, so Bob said, all we can do is keep it that he's aware of it, which was my biggest concern, and, but it doesn't, there's really not anything we can do at this point, you know, it's, we don't, that the,
Right.
and I know from past conversations that the current owner is not interested in really working with the town on conserving any of it, so, we'll just have to wait
Right.
and see who actually gets a purchase agreement and purchase and sale accomplished, and then what they try to do with it, so. Anyway, that's kind of not very satisfactory, because it just seems like it's kind of kicking it down the road, but I don't know what else to do, so. All right, just new business, I've been notified that the Open Space Committee annual report is due, so sometime in the next week or so, look for that from me, just a draft, and you can just tell me whether you see anything you want to add. Oh, and then, okay, so this last item, the downtown revitalization plan. It occurred to me, I mean, when I was talking about Bruley, I was inquiring of him as to how that whole process was going, public meetings and so on. I missed the last public meeting. Did either of you go to that? It was at BSU.
I did.
You did, yeah, so.
I didn't get to.
Yeah,
No.
okay, so I was just curious, you know, what sort of feedback he's getting, and it sounds, well, I mean, not unexpectedly, there's a lot of negative reaction, and it occurred to me that maybe our committee might consider taking some point of view on it, or taking some position on it. My personal feeling is, and this is just my personal feeling, and I know I'm not speaking for this committee, is that in order to preserve open space, we need to develop more densely the property downtown and in areas that are already developed. So I'm generally in favor of the idea of what's being proposed, that we don't want more 1 acre lots, $1 million houses on 1 acre lots in whatever open space is left in Bridgewater, or farmland. I mean, which
Correct.
isn't much.
Yeah.
But so in concept, I would like to support what the plan is. I mean, I haven't written letters or spoken out myself personally, but I think it might be good if the Open Space Committee did or would, if you both agree. And I probably, now Nicole would have to recuse herself, because she's actually working for the consulting firm that's on the transportation plan. So it would be just the three of us that would have to, and I don't know exactly what this form this would take, whether we would just want to send a letter, or maybe speak at town meeting or something, at town council, or, yeah, I don't know, but just if we took a general position, either yes or no, you know, I mean, we're not going to say no, but whether we're interested in saying yes and supporting
Make
it.
a position.
Yeah, there's.
The meeting was mostly about, they're talking about putting in a roundabout down the center of town.
Oh, okay,
So it was really more about the
Yeah.
traffic.
yeah, the
so
last one, yeah,
I didn't
okay.
see any nitty-gritty beyond that. So I don't know if you want to, I don't have really an objection to it, but do you want to wait until you have more, it's fleshed out more what they're going to do, or do you think that there's enough information out there?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, because I mean, the first meeting they have did include, I mean, I've certainly seen the designs for the,
Yeah.
the 5-story buildings. I mean, I think it was 6-story, then 5-story. But that's a good question, Maureen, because it may be, yeah, I don't know. And I was not at the last meeting, and really the first one was a lot about transportation too, now that I think about it.
Yeah, that's all it's been about, is what,
Yeah.
Yeah,
about downtown, the common, how they're gonna restructure the parking and the one-way streets and that sort of
Yeah.
thing, you know.
yeah.
So, they really haven't
Yeah.
got. to the
There's a lot
nitty-gritty.
of there's a
Yeah.
lot of skepticism. I've paid attention, quite a bit of attention to it. I do know I watched the planning board meeting when the architects, they did the presentation for the building, and the buildings downtown, and how it would have mixed use on the bottom floors, and then there would be townhouses in back, and just it seems from the perspective of the architects who have been doing this for years, they were saying, the chance of getting funding, and if you were to go beyond this plan, so if you were to go a floor down or to do this or do that, you're going to get laughed away by banks and investors left and right, because you're not going to make money on it. And that's
Mhm.
the whole problem that we were running into.
Yeah.
And I
yeah.
think that other people don't understand is the economics of it, for it to work. And I do know that from what I've seen, there is, but it's mixed, and any kind of change is going to,
Yeah,
come
yeah.
back as being, it's going to be either well received by some, or vehemently pushed back by others. It's just
Mhm.
one of those things that I think that I would, it, personally, I'm totally fine saying I support it, because using my personal beliefs, and I think that I think this should happen. But as a committee member, at this point, thinking of, maybe, the transportation plan, all that, it might be worth waiting a little bit to kind of see, see how that shakes out. And
Okay.
but I do completely agree that the committee should take take a position, and other committees might fall in line as well.
Mhm.
Not in line, but make a
Make their statement
make a
known.
stance, make a,
Yeah,
yeah,
okay. All right.
exactly, yeah.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
that's good. So, yeah, they're just, we sort of determined that we would like to make a statement, and we can assess when might be the appropriate time and.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, we really need more. And of course, being an open space, I'd like to see how much open space they're gonna put out there
Yeah,
too.
well, that would be another element of it. One, yes, we're in favor of denser development if it's gonna, if knowing that the result would at least hopefully be saving other open space from
Yes.
development in other parts of town, but also, yeah, to ensure that there were small areas of open space within the
Yes.
development and along that
And
river area, which are crucial
and
to,
not just throw a bush in someplace and
yes,
say,
yeah, yeah,
we've done our
Right.
job.
yes, yeah.
And this isn't a an out of bounds or like an insane plan by any means. It's actually fairly, it's actually fairly like a moderate plan to
Mhm.
enact.
Yeah.
I mean, I know, working with a client of mine down in Aquidneck Island, they had their land trust, and they work and they worked with a company to figure out, like, what does a density plan look like going into 2050 for the
Mhm.
island, and like and it is exactly what you're talking about. Utilize land that is already dense, redevelop it, make it work. And I think that that's the only way that we will preserve land going forward. And there will be denser parts, and then more sparse parts of
Yeah.
areas. So it's like I said, it's a very, there's nothing radical about what is being proposed from my perspective, and my educated opinion of what I've seen about it. So
Yeah.
that's why I said I think it makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
I agree totally. I think it's important to have the denseness near the train station, near the shopping areas. We don't have many restaurants, but we do have a few. And where they're talking about it, just they've got to do something anyhow. And it's nice to clean up that area, but I just really want to make sure they're going to leave permanently, forever, open space.
Yep, yep, okay. All right, well, that's good. That's adequate discussion of that, and we'll follow it. I'm sure it's gonna be around for a while. All right, so Michael, additional item for discussion. I already told Maureen and Josh before you got on the
Yes.
bad news, but
Yes, yeah, I'll tell in official capacity. So I'm actually going to be resigning my spot on the committee for reasons that I have essentially received an opportunity to be a professor at a local university, which I'm sitting at now currently. Uh, and I can't split my time between my business and the teaching position and the open space, and in good conscience, have the open space be a third wheel. It deserves individual attention by somebody who cares quite a bit, and it was a tough decision to make, but yeah, uh I'm going to be here through the March meeting, and then after that will probably be the end for me.
Ooh, but good work. Congratulations.
I know.
When is your term up, Michael? Is it this year? Have you been on 3 years? As of
Yes.
June or July
Yep.
or something? Okay,
Yeah, something like that. Yep.
yeah, all
Yep.
right.
So yeah, and like I said, I can stay on in a capacity where I can stay until my term, but like, so when we're drafting a letter or things like that, I'm happy to stay on until the end of the term. I just won't be able to like attend
Oh,
a
okay.
meeting or
Oh,
whatnot.
all right. Well, that's a good clarification. Okay, yeah, so we still,
Yeah,
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 all right,
yeah. I just can't divide my time in terms of like
right,
meeting for meetings and whatnot. So
yeah,
that the onus will have to be put on others to step up in town to join
yeah,
the committee, or to attend meetings, or whatever. And
yeah.
I don't want to leave y'all in a slump, so I have one or two folks that I'm going to reach out to personally that I know who have been in town for years, and they might be interested. So I'll be reaching out to them and seeing if they're interested and passing along the application. And yeah, we'll see.
All right.
Well,
Okay,
congratulations on your new position. I hope you enjoy
Thank
it.
you. It's really great. I'm in my 6th week of doing it, and I'm really enjoying it. It's just one of those things that it's a lot more
It's a lot of work.
than I thought it was going to be. Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
an awful lot.
So
Yes.
all right.
yes. So, but it's like I said, it's I just did not want this to be seen as a third wheel, rather than it should be a priority. And I didn't want to lack in any kind of performance for the committee. So it was the smart thing to do.
All right, well, we appreciate that, and you've certainly been a valuable member, and we'll rely on you for one more meeting, and
Mm.
yeah,
Yep.
so, okay, good. All right, so anything else, anybody has? No?
Nothing.
Yep.
All right, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Sure, making a
I'll
motion
make the
to.
motion.
Beat you.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll second it.
Okay, we are adjourned, and it is 2:40 PM. All right, thank you. Have a good night.
Bye-bye.
Oh,
Thank you. It was
next
good
meeting,
seeing you both.
March 20th,
Oh, yeah.
same
What's the
time,
next
same
meeting?
place. March
March-
20th,
March 20th?
yep.
Yeah, okay, I'll be here.
you'll
Okay,
be here. Okay, good.
all
Yeah.
right, great.
All
Okay,
right,
thank you.
both. Talk to you again.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.